Central Committee meeting of Parliament to review draft, Kingdom legislation and approval composition travel delegations. ODM calls on community to closely monitor weather reports as we move into the peak of the season. More on the interview with Parveen Burchia of SZV. Many people in St. Martin may not know that they are actually tied to energy benefits. More on the Central Committee meeting of Parliament to review draft Kingdom legislation and approval of the composition travel delegations. From the island of St. Martin, this is SXM Daily News for August 14th, 2026. Central Committee meeting of Parliament to review draft, Kingdom legislation, and approval composition travel delegations to parliamentary invited events and parliamentary work visits.
The report was made up by the committee and sent to this committee, the Central Committee, by the chairperson of the CCARE. And according to our rules of order, once the report is approved by the Central Committee, it will be sent to the chairperson of the second chamber because this is a kingdom law that we're working on. Just to go into those procedures regarding a kingdom law, Articles 15 through 21 of the Kingdom Charter regulate certain parts of the kingdom law procedure. And based on these articles, the parliaments, including ours, are able and allowed to research the proposal and bring out a written report on a kingdom law. That's the possibility or the authority, if you wish, that we have where it pertains to kingdom law. We can look at it, debate it, and give our views on it. The report is answered by the responsible minister of the kingdom government. So the questions on this draft law, if any, will then have to be answered by the kingdom government. The parliaments of the three countries can also choose to send one or more special delegates to the handling of the proposal who are allowed to be present and also give information. So if a parliament deems a matter that is to be regulated by kingdom law important for its country, so let's say St. Martin determines that, we can then say we will have special delegates of the Parliament of St. Martin to attend the handling of the law, at which time the members of Parliament, the delegates of the parliaments, can then also give information and, give information. The special delegates can also propose amendments to the proposal of law and also submit motions. However, as we all know, only the members of the Dutch Second Chamber are allowed to vote on the aforementioned and the law proposal itself. So we have the report from our CCARE committee, and I also want to note that our Secretariat, the Secretariat of Parliament, received questions by MP Myers as well as MP Otley. The MP Myers had indicated that he had informed the chair of the committee. However, once we are in Central Committee, MP Myers' questions have already been taken up in the report that we have. So the report that is going to be hopefully ratified here. But then in the case of MP Otley, who also indicated that he had informed the chair of the CCARE that he would submit. However, MP Otley questions were received after the report for this meeting was made, so MP Otley will bring forward his questions in here, and they will be added to the report as well.
Submitted my questions, Madam Chair, and I know after having a discussion with the chair of the CCARE committee, I submitted my questions, and I want to thank you for the clarity that you gave, the elucidation that you gave as it regards the whole process. I think that brought a lot of understanding to it. But the questions that I've submitted, I think they were important as well, as far as to give more clarity as to where I know there's an extradition law that already exists within the kingdom. However, those questions that I just needed, and that's why I preferred to submit them in writing, because I really didn't want the political hoopla about them. I just wanted a clear understanding as to what was actually done, where the process, how the process was followed, and that when we, as representatives of the people, are asked those questions, that we have the answers for them. That's was the thinking behind my submission in writing. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Considering this is regulated and now being asked to put in a kingdom law, I've had discussions as well with some colleagues in Curacao, where the main question is, why the governor? Why not on the auspice or final decision of the minister? So I would like to know that. In the Netherlands, it'll be discussed in Kingdom Council of Ministers level or minister level. Why for us, it has to be the governor. The governor who then represents the king. It makes me wonder, then I can see the aspect you would say, okay, take away the political nature, but again, we are a country. The Minister of Justice has responsibilities, and it cannot be we pick and choose when the responsibility will be given to the Minister of Justice. My other question would be the consideration of adding an article, or have we ever considered of doing like the French side? I remember when the question came up to the Minister of Justice on extradition or case where persons or citizens of the French side would commit a crime, and the French side would hold the person and try the person on the French side, or Guadeloupe, or French territory. And if time is to be served, it is served on a French territory. So would the kingdom, it is consider adding an article that says extradition of the requested person is not permitted for an act that is committed wholly or substantially on the territories of Aruba, Curacao, and St. Martin. Directly, if we look at the French law, it says extradition of the requested person is not permitted for an act that was committed wholly or substantially within the territory of the French. So those were my basic questions. Have we ever looked into that aspect? And the other is why the decision lies within the governor and not the Minister of Justice. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social health insurances.
More on the Central Committee meeting of Parliament to review draft Kingdom legislation and approval of the composition of travel delegations.
And I think because of all what was brought forward and seeing the importance of those kingdom laws, although we all know that we are dealing with this democratic deficit, but not letting our voice be known in regards to laws that specifically are of importance of St. Martin, I do believe it's a good step forward that we have given our views on the several laws that have been presented. and then based on the answering, and if it's sufficient or not, that we can take the necessary steps that are granted to us based on the kingdom law, and that we take it from there, and then if needed, that we can lobby to make sure that it is in benefit of country St. Martin. So I look forward to the development of such, and that we will be able to achieve within the possibilities of the law, which is beneficial for St. Martin.
If you seek online, you will see that it states that as of August the 26th, extradition falls within the portfolio of the Dutch Minister of Justice and Security, David Van Wiel. So that is why the more confusion about it, why there, the Minister of Justice, and here, for example, if nothing is brought forth, that it will be the governor. Then I truly believe that before we even go to the Netherlands, because I've heard 1 or 2 or 3 members of parliament ask the question, but it should be a decision then from this parliament in whole that, hey, this is the proposal we have, and this is a proposal that we're going to bring forward. Sure. That's going to happen. And maybe also get some feedback from the Bar Association here on St. Martin, but also find out beforehand what Aruba and Curacao are doing, because stronger together, we will be able to stand and face the whole problem. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady.
But did the government express their position on this law already, in terms of being in agreement with it being via the governor or the minister? If so, can you give some light, shed some light on that, if that is indeed the case? Thank you.
I haven't seen anything in the law regarding comments by the government per se. However, the part of the government's involvement is different than the route that we are dealing with as Parliament. So between the government and our minister plenipotentiary in the Kingdom Council of Ministers, that's where that discussion takes place. So they don't have to give a position on the law, because the proposal for this law actually came from the Kingdom government. MP Duran?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Indeed, you alluded to exactly what I thought, because I know Minister Arundel sits in the Kingdom Council of Ministers, so therefore I think it would be kind of strange, then that's my personal opinion, if the Parliament of St. Martin, let's say if we feel that it should be via the Minister of Justice, but then we have our Minister Plenipotentiary saying a different route. So therefore, I think it's important for us to be in sync before we even talk about talking with Curacao and Aruba, that we be in sync, at least as St. Martin, to know the direction or that we would want. That could be in a central committee, it could be in a closed-door meeting, it could be whatever. But I think it would be weird for us to express one position here, and then the government is doing something different, because they actually sit on that table of the Kingdom Council of Ministers. Thank you.
Thank you for that note, MP Duran. But I think it's one of the few and good ways where the position of the parliaments is very strong in terms of kingdom laws and your input into that. I do agree with your statement, however, that we don't have to, but we can take it up with our government. We can ask them additional questions just for us to form a stronger position. But again, it's 2 different trajectories, and we would assume that the government, via the Minister Plenipotentiary, has not expressed any issues with this draft law, because it has come from via the Kingdom government, and it's based, again, it's something that has to happen given the changes that have taken place to the Charter, the Articles 14 and 38, and now again we can't have these independent kingdom decrees, general kingdom decrees. We can't have them independently just standing on their own. A matter such as extradition between the Caribbean countries of the kingdom shouldn't be on the basis of algemene maatregel van Rijksbestuur. No, that is much too heavy of an issue. There are some other general kingdom decrees that will continue to exist based on the nature of them and based on the fact that, somewhere there is a basis in the law for them. But this one, it has been decided that this matter, for it to continue to exist, the extradition possibilities, it needs to be regulated by kingdom law. So, members of parliament, again, thank you for your comments, your notes, and we will approve this report with the questions as mentioned, and then the members and factions, of course, are free to decide, well, let us, before we get answers, already start to dig into the questions that have been posed and the proposals that have been made. So with that, members of parliament, the report is hereby approved and will be forwarded to the chairperson of the second chamber, and this is in accordance with the rules of order of parliament. Report approved.
More on the interview with Parveen Bertier of SCV. Many people in St. Martin may not know that they are actually tied to energy benefits.
Wait times, I understood there's 17 minutes.
Yes.
But what are the wait times and service expectations? Where does SZV stand today, and where would you want to be in the near future?
So this is something that we monitor very closely. And for us, it's all about the most optimal or the most excellent service that we can give to our clients. And for example, the 17-minute waiting time, we monitor that, and we're doing our best to bring that down. So let's say for us, service quality means being assisted within 15 minutes. So we're close by, but we know that we can adjust and we can optimize our process more further to get to a 15-minute. But most importantly, it is that somebody has their question answered. And if that takes a 20-minute or a 25-minute, that is okay, but the question needs to get answered. And I believe that is something what service excellence also means. So not only looking at the length of time, but if a person is really satisfied with the answer that they get, and even though you don't agree, because a rejection or a denial can also be an answer, but at least it is clear to you why you did not meet that certain requirement.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Now, when a client is unhappy with SZV, a delayed payment, for instance, a misunderstanding, as you just said, a frustrating experience at the counter, what is the real process for raising a complaint, and how does SZV make sure that it leads to an actual change? Yeah,
so complaints are reality. In an ideal world,
make everybody happy.
Well, the ideal world, we would have zero complaints, and that is what we continuously striving for. But we know that that in a situation where people work, we can get complaints. So we really look at the complaints as learning opportunities. And I know that many organizations say that, but I can attest that whenever we get a complaint, we always speak about it in our teams, like what happened here, what was the root cause of this complaint? Was there a procedure that was not clear? Were there, for examples, contradicting information that was given to the client? So we really try to understand what happened here. After answering the client, we also make sure that we take measures that it doesn't happen again. So if we have to make a change in our procedure, if we have to have an extra meeting with our staff to clarify, if we have to apologize to the client, all of those things can happen. And we definitely do that in order to make sure that we improve our service going forward. So complaints, yes, of course we do our best not to reach to that stage, but if a client is dissatisfied, please don't hold it in, but let us know, because once you let us know, we can actually do something about it. And you can write us, you can ask to speak to our manager customer services, we have a supervisor customer services, so we have many positions within our organization that can actually address.
Okay.
Now the local weather forecast, tonight through Saturday midday. Warm, breezy, and slightly hazy with isolated showers. Surface winds, tonight through Saturday midday. Easterly with a gentle to moderate breeze at 12 to 18 MEMPs and higher gusts. Sea conditions, sheltered areas, swimmers, open waters. Open waters, small craft operators, state. Slight to moderate waves, swells, below 3, FT or 3, 5 or aft outlook through Sunday, midday. Occasionally cloudy and slightly hazy with isolated showers. And now, 3-day weather forecast.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurances.
DCOM. According to the Meteorological Department of St. Martin, MDS, a tropical wave moving towards the Lesser Antilles has a chance of development over the next few days, but currently does not pose a direct threat to the country. The Office of Disaster Management, ODM, which falls under the Fire Department, Ministry of General Affairs, headed by Fire Chief Disaster Coordinator Clive Richardson, is appealing to all residents and businesses to closely monitor weather reports as we now enter the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season as of mid-August. For official weather-related information, check out the website of the Meteorological Department of St. Martin, MDS, www.meteosxm.com, or visit their social media page, facebook.com/wasxmweather. You have the time now to prepare promptly for the peak months of the hurricane season. Remember, it only takes one hurricane to make it a bad season. This is our SXM Daily Newscast. Thank you for joining us.